In Greenland today, it seems like there's a lot of focus on this in the United States. The White House putting out a statement in the last few hours saying that, yes, Donald Trump is discussing a range of options to acquire the Danish territory, including purchasing it. I mean, the Danish have been pretty clear it's not for sale. Is this all one big troll? Is it the art of the deal? What's behind this?
Well, I do think the president is intentionally offending people by talking about military action. He's trying to provoke a response, and it appears to be working, by the way. Conversation about what else might be possible. Denmark can say they're not interested in selling, but that's usually the first thing you say in a negotiation like this. I don't know where this is going to end up, so I'm hesitant to predict anything. The U.S. and Denmark are going to end up speaking in much more pragmatic terms in the relatively near future.
In a bigger picture, look at this. Donald Trump this week embracing that framing of the Dunn-Road Doctrine, harking back to the Monroe Doctrine of the 1800s. What does that sort of language do in terms of the bigger geopolitical questions? Does it embolden Russia, for example, in Ukraine? Does China take a signal out of this that it can do anything it wants in its so-called hemisphere?
Well, I think people have criticized Trump's move in Venezuela on exactly those terms. And the implication seems to be that because the U.S. wants to be the only, kind of global power involved in the Western Hemisphere, therefore it's okay for Russia to do things in its backyard or China to do things in its backyard. That's simply not the case. Realistically, Russia and China have a certain economic might and military might. They're going to do what they can do to defend themselves or to do the things that they think are in their interest as they are able. And the idea that international law can bind them to certain behaviors is belied by the fact that Russia's invaded Ukraine 10 times in the last 11 years, and that China, continues to assert sovereignty over islands and coral reefs in the South China Sea that clearly do not belong to China. So neither one of these countries has really respected international law in the past. And I think it's a mistake to think that anything Donald Trump could do would impact their decision making in that area. The impact that I think it does have when Trump backs up what he says he's going to do, if he makes a threat in the future over Taiwan or Ukraine or what have you, I think those actors in Beijing and Moscow are going to see him as much more likely to follow through on what he has said he will do.
Certainly a disruptor, Donald Trump, to international politics.